Hello and welcome to the first part of the HBL podcast. We're going to be discussing the Season 6 rule changes, the Season 6 draft, and the couple of transactions that have happened after the Season 6 HBL draft. I'm your host, weaponmatt, joined today by Chumpy, Meet Your Meat, or Deej, Chris, Go Tanks, Smokey Massacre, and Ninty. Thanks for looking at the camera, Ninty.
Your boy.
Alrighty, so first on the agenda today, I guess the first thing we should say is, Deej, congratulations on being a captain now. Ninty steps down as the captain of the Holy Ghost Melees, and Deej will be taking over for at least this season. So the first thing on the agenda is we were going to talk to Go Tanks and Smokey Massacre about the couple of rule changes coming in for Season 6.
So we've decided on two major rule changes that will definitely kind of change the way the games go down in Season 6. The first rule change is now that every single possession when the ball respawns in the middle of the court, the team that's on offense, whoever picks up the ball, they have to release the ball once before they can take a shot. So that could either be a pass to a teammate or a dribble to yourself. You could drop the ball and pick it right back up, but the ball has to leave your hands and re-enter your hands before you can take a shot. If you take a shot and it hits the rim or goes in before the ball has been released, then those points will not count, and it will be an automatic turnover. That's the first major rule change. The second major rule change is it's actually just the game completely is going to be moved to a 20-minute game instead of a 15-minute game. Instead of 15 minutes, it's actually going to be 20 minutes, but it'll be two 10-minute halves. There's going to be a 1-minute halftime intermission. That way, the teams get a second to breathe and make any adjustments if they need to. But also, another kind of rule that goes along with that is you can be a little more strategic now, because the team that grabs the ball to start the game, whichever team picks up the ball first, the other team is going to get the ball first to start the second half. So that's another little strategic aspect of that rule change. But those are the major two rule changes.
Yep. And that first rule, the thinking behind that was to give the defense more of a chance to defend the middle. So that's why they have to drop the ball. And that it just kind of gives the defense more of a chance to actually make a play on the ball, rather than the offensive player getting it right up the middle and scoring easily.
I think one of the biggest plays that we kept seeing was people just slide jumping right up the middle and getting hit up into the air, and then a free three-point shot.
Don't say people like you weren't the main person, bro.
You and me both, Ninty. Hey, Ninty, you and me,
yeah,
we're kings of that. Now we're on the same team,
used to be
so we're screwed.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was guilty of that as
to
well.
help with that. And the second rule change, we just kind of wanted to make a longer game. And with the two halves, now you have, the team who possesses the ball first. The other team will get to possess the ball to start the second half. So it just kind of makes it more fair.
Also makes for easier substitutions for teams that have their fourth and or fifth players online.
Wait, is this gonna be like? Have we had a sub mid-game?
We have.
Yes.
Yeah, we have had that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Almost
By the
happened.
way, how's it going?
Oh, hey, welcome back.
You guys got anything else to say with the rule changes, or is that about covered?
I think that's pretty much it for the rules.
I'm excited.
like
I'm
it.
excited to see how it changes the game.
This is the first
Big
major
changes.
rule change since season 2 of HBL. Which of
HBL
course
is all
brought
of a
in
sudden less
3v3 instead of
stupid.
2v2, and then also what was it? The bigger maps for that, and then also
the
the
three-point
change.
extension. Yeah.
Yeah. So
We moved the three-point line back.
yeah, so it's been a long time coming. Also,
Yeah, that was probably the biggest change ever. But this next one is still a pretty big jump.
Yeah.
Yep.
What just happened on my screen?
I have
Bro,
no
my
idea what happened
screen
on
is
mine,
fucking
too. My
tripping.
screen
What
just
the hell
went
just happened?
away.
I'm gonna go in.
Huh.
Wait, okay, so somebody look. I'm in
All
fourth.
right, I'm gonna be in
Can
first
somebody look where
person the
thing
rest of
is?
this until someone.
It's right
confirms
here.
it's
It's right next to
If I release it, will somebody die?
You'll hit somebody.
Who's gonna hit?
Chris God. Well, I can't
Well,
die,
you
so it doesn't
die.
matter.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So
All right, there we go.
Oh,
next
good.
up for this podcast,
Good.
actually, since Chumpy, you're pretty much the only. You and I are the only people here who aren't captains. What do you think of the rule changes, real quick?
I think rule
Man, I'm
changes
so
are
glad
great.
I
I
can hear
think it
forgot
implements
Apple was in
more
here.
strategy to the game
Wait, is
than
he? Where
we
is he?
thought about prior.
Yeah.
And, it's gonna.
Where is
I
he?
feel like the first rule is gonna give the two other guys on the court more of a chance to put up points, and I think that's great.
Yeah. And on a defensive
true.
standpoint, I mean, the reason I never played middle defense was because I was unable to cover that shot, the slide shot, especially from Smokey. So I feel like it gives the defense a little bit more of a chance to
Oh, yeah,
defend right off
definitely.
the bat.
That's a great point he made, though. Like, that opens up a lot for those guys playing on the outside, people like Go Tanks, you know, who don't play in the
Yeah.
middle. Now they might be seeing a lot more ball hydration.
All right, so that covers
Yep.
it for the
Yeah,
rule
the
change.
middle game is
And I think
super
that,
changed, honestly.
Oh yeah.
Sorry.
This
Quick.
I'll probably see less
analysis.
ball duration, not just because of the team that I'm on, but because no immediate scores or anything like that. Yeah.
Can I add to the
Yep.
rules? I think that with the second rule, the halftime switch up, I think that implements a really great strategy on whether or not you want to get the ball out of a start. Usually with games, it's a bull rush to get the ball from the middle, but now it's not that simple.
I also wanted to add one last thing about it, because these two rules actually really work together well, because we've seen a lot of high-scoring games in the HBL, and a lot of
Yeah.
those high-scoring games were because of those straight-up-the-middle, hit-up, three-point
Yep.
shots.
100%.
Now, having a lot less of those is probably going to decrease the score a little bit, but we add
the
5
five
extra minutes to the
in,
game,
yeah.
so it kind of balances out very well.
Yeah.
Kind of balances out.
Yeah.
very well.
I mean, I will say something
Yeah.
about the high scoring games. Of course, I think it was the very last week of the HBL season when I put up 37 on the Holy Ghost melees. I was
That's
playing
actually
middle,
disgusting,
and most of my shots were right off the inbound.
Quote unquote podcast.
Alrighty, so that covers it for the
I
rule
still
section.
think you're gonna still see really high scoring games.
Oh yeah, it's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
be high scoring.
Yeah.
But we could
Yeah,
get some
these
defensive
teams-
shootouts. We had a few last season. I don't think we'll get that low of scoring again, like we did. What was it, 15-13? Was that the low scoring or something like that?
Yeah, that was week 1, yeah. 15-13 did happen.
Alrighty, so
Dang.
let's move on.
Just so everyone knows, this is totally random, but there is a scoregami chart on
on the HBL.
Is it what?
for the
Is that
HBL.
scoregami?
What?
Scoregami. Yep.
I will.
What is that?
Smokey, send me the link
That-
and we'll put it in the description of the video.
Yeah.
Dude, put that in the Discord chat. I don't know what
That's true too. Yeah.
Yo, shout out
It
to
already
that
is.
tree, dude.
You
That
can
tree
go
looks so
to
nice.
about, and it's in that document. It's in that
Okay.
spreadsheet.
So that covers it for the rule changes incoming for season 6. Now let's get to the juicy stuff. First, we're going to talk about the draft
Oh boy.
without the transaction.
Boy.
So the draft is now up on the screen. You can't really see anybody. So I guess we can just go down the line, except we won't have Fireball here. We do have a representative from the MC gang here in Appalachia, but he was the very last pick. Thanks for getting me banned, Chumpy. All right, so I guess we can start Go Tanks and Deej with the first 2 picks. You know, who was on your draft board? Who?
Well,
Why did you make
know,
your
obviously,
selection as a result?
obviously, with having the first pick, I had, plenty of time to think about it. And, I was thinking, and, me and you, we had such good chemistry for, those seasons. So, I liked what you did last season, so I was like, yep, he's number 1 on my board.
Man,
And
zoom in
that's,
on his character real quick.
That's
Yeah.
basically what went into the decision.
I mean, I knew that was kind
Waste
of a
of time.
potential opportunity because we played my first two seasons in the HBL together. We made the championship once
Yep.
with Deej, and then I go off to the MC gang, win another championship, and now
Wait,
I'm
you said
back.
first 2 seasons?
My first 2 seasons in the HBL,
Oh, your
I was
first
with
two.
Go Tanks. All right, Demi. This was probably the most intriguing pick coming into the draft, was that number 2 pick, because nobody knew where you're going to go. Because obviously on most people's
Oh, I
draft board,
knew.
I think Ninty
I knew
was
100%.
the guy that would have gone either number 1 or number 2. You know, it was me and Ninty. But of course, there is the history there. Season 3, you go 0-6 with Ninty. What's the thought process behind taking him?
Oh, really?
Big facts. It's very cool.
Oh wow.
Wait, hello?
Oh.
Yeah, we hear you.
Hey.
Okay, yeah.
Wait,
Alright,
who's
so,
talking?
anyways,
This is big, guys.
the reason I picked Ninty was because, honestly, in my eyes, he was like the best middle player on the board. So, I was going to pick but I was concerned if he was going to be online or not, his activity. So I went with Ninty. So, yeah.
Bro, why don't you talk more often, bro?
Hey, I'm gonna be
You
real.
hot. You got a sexy ass voice, bro.
Probably like 2 years, bro.
Like,
So it's been so long.
Ninty, what was your reaction to being drafted by Deej? Of course, you picked him first overall in season 3. You went 0-6. What was your reaction being picked number 2 overall?
I appreciated the loyalty, but there's also a love-hate relationship there because of our previous encounter.
It's
So,
also
you
your
know,
old team that you stepped down from. You got right back to the Holy Ghost. Right?
Yeah, it was me, Demi, and Z all over again. So you know, it was a good feeling for 3 minutes, and we'll get into that later.
Yeah. We will
but,
get into that shortly.
Actually, there was something worse that happened before other things. But yeah, it was nice for the win.
All right, the other
Not
2
long
first round picks. I'm gonna start with Smokey on this one because we heard all the outcry in the offseason, even during the championship games a little bit. Chumpy was unhappy, and then as soon as that ended, I don't want to be a samurai again. And then he gets drafted by the samurai. We're gonna start with Chumpy on this one. What was your reaction to being drafted for a 3rd straight season as a samurai?
I had a mental breakdown on set. I think that's all you need to know. I about left the game, left the party, went home,
aren't you
moved on
home
with
already,
my
though?
day. What?
Aren't you home already?
Don't
Yo, where
ask
you
any
at?
further questions, Chris.
All right, Smokey,
Yes.
your opinion on this matter, because you drafted a player who openly said, I don't want to play for this team anymore. You know, you're the Packer fan. Your quarterback doesn't want to play for you anymore, but yet you picked your Aaron Rodgers backup.
Well, here's the thing. When you can't always just think about your team. You got to think about other teams as well. Do I want Fireball to get Chumpy? No, I definitely do not want that. That was a very big reason why I picked him. I also picked him because 2 seasons in a row, we've gone to the championship together. I don't know how, in his mind, that constitutes not wanting to play for the Samurai anymore. It kind of shocks me that he feels that way, but I guess that's just how he is. And maybe, if he were to go on a different team, he would feel the same way about them at the end of the season. But I figured that, Chumpy's a really good player. I didn't want him to end up on another team. I felt like drafting him still gives me a very good opportunity to win a championship. And then, it was the safe call in that situation. And
Yeah,
I like
strategy, right?
during the draft, I always try to play it safe.
Yeah, there's no harm, no foul to playing it safe with the draft picks. I'm going to comment a little bit here
Yeah.
for Fireball's picks, and then we can
Well,
get
real
back
quick.
with the captains. What's up, Smokey?
Real quick, just as a comparison, it's the same thing I did with last season with Smokey's. Like, I didn't want to be on any other team because that would have stacked another team.
Yeah.
Now, did that have a role with him playing or not? Probably. But at the same point in time, it's like Smokey said, it was a smart pick. It was a strategic type of thing. So yeah, I think.
But then it led to Smokey getting Joey instead.
Which actually Joey surprised people, right? That's actually crazy.
Yeah.
Joey hit a lot of clutch shots for me last season.
Yeah, he was clutch
Yeah, he
in
did.
the game 2 win in the finals.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to comment a little bit here for Fireball. Obviously, we don't really have an MC gang representative, so Fireball going
skip
into
over
the
Chris.
draft was actually targeting either Soul Reaper or Snaz with the number 5 overall pick. Soul, of course, went number 3 to Chris, which we will get to here in a second. So Fireball just Snaz fell straight into his lap. If Chumpy fell past Smokey, it would have been a Fireball Chumpy reunion from season 3, I believe, or season 2.
Dick, hold on.
It would have been a disaster for every other team in the league.
Well, I don't know about that much. Fireball kind of had to retain Rog to keep his team in contention. Rog played very well in the later part of the season, especially his shot kind of picked up in the middle of the playoffs there. And then, he picks Appalay very last overall, Mr. Irrelevant. He's a guy on the draft board.
Mr. Relevant.
He's been out of
Oh my
HBL for a while. He just came back to play
Somewhere
a
on
couple
this map,
games for
running around.
Gotenks. He is somewhere around this map. So, will he get playing time? We don't know, but, he's not a bad value pick. He's got experience. All right, Chris.
Fun fact. Von Apple was
The first ever HBL pick.
The first ever HBL pick back in the pilot season of HBL. So
That never
good
got aired,
times.
yes.
All right,
Yeah,
Chris.
that never got aired. Yeah, but yeah.
Chris comes into the season saying he's going to make Team Brit. His first pick is Soul Reaper, but his second pick is Tiga. Talk about those first 2 picks.
Well, first I had to get Soul because mainly I picked him just because I knew I don't ever play with him, even on off season. So I wanted to have different type of experience. And Team Brit, you gotta have Team Brit going in. And then Tig was a strategic pick because I wanted to trade him off, and that's what I got to do. Nothing against him; he's a good player, but I had to get my Team Brit going. So, but
You also kept Zeke. Or Hunter.
Oh, yeah, I kept Hunter because Hunter's actually a pretty
Yeah.
solid player, but
Yeah.
again, got to get the Team Brit going because y'all don't understand. It's gonna be an intense game. Redcoats are coming back, right?
Hey, you
God.
have to have your team colors red. Like I'll give him red.
They
We
are
are
wearing red. They
No,
are the
no,
second
easy,
red
bro.
team. So, real quick, the extensions. Deej, I don't think anyone. Actually, we'll go by order. We already talked about Rog. Smokey extending Joey. No surprise there. He's played with Joey in season 3. Made a deep playoff run. Joey comes back in Joey drafted by the Samurai again in season 4. Doesn't play. Comes back in season 5. Deep playoff run. Of course, losing in 5 games in the championship. So no surprise there. Deej keeping Z Master. I don't think there was any surprise there. Z Master really stepped up his game in season 5 and warranted being extended by Deej. He could have been a second round pick, in my opinion, if he wasn't extended there. But then the next pick.
Yeah, Z is a really good player. Since he's been practicing, since he's been playing more.
He's very underrated.
Super good. Yeah. Super.
So the next picks we get to talk about, we'll go back to Gotenks and Deej. Gotenks taking Strafe Helix, number 6 overall. Deej taking number 7 overall. So whichever one of you wants to start with those picks.
I'll start it off. For me, it just. Well, I figured Deej needed a minute to plug his mic in,
Yeah.
But for me, it just seemed like the best pick for the spot. That beginning of the second round seemed like a solid player there, and me and weaponmatt both agreed.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
we have
that's basically
one
all the thought.
previous game played with Strafe Helix back in season 3 where we
won.
beat the Samurai that had previously traded.
Mhm.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, you traded Strafe and then he kicked your ass. All right, Deej. So you take Ninty. You said you take the best middle off the board, and then in round 2 you take a second middle player. And I think you're a good middle player too, but obviously you want to play wing. So, and you obviously question his availability, his sobriety at some points. I think we all question. What's the thought
This
process
is an intervention.
at number
Oh,
7?
Oh,
This
really?
podcast is brought
I
to you
think
by
Onk was a really talented player.
And Twisted Tea.
honestly.
Hey.
Oh. I thought about I could try to make it work, honestly. I don't know who was going to play middle. I think, I don't really know.
It would have just been
Yeah,
a
I
fight
just
to the
picked like,
death.
the most talented player on board. So,
Yeah,
Well
the best
said,
available.
Ump
Well
is like
said.
really, listen, Ump is like really good when he,
He's here.
When he's sober.
Yeah, that was
When
my
he's over.
question about him though, just
Yeah.
like his availability and
The
yeah,
sobriety, yeah.
yeah, that too.
So, side note, Demi, when did your voice get so sexy?
Oh,
Wait,
I
the
have
last
no
time we
idea.
talked to Demi, was he a squeaker?
Yeah.
He's
Oh
never
my
been a
God.
Oh,
squeak.
yeah, I was.
Has he?
That's why he didn't
In our
use his
party?
mic.
Was
Yeah,
he,
but
was,
I don't
was
know-
he,
I don't know
was
if
he
it was
going
you
like
then.
halfway
I
through?
feel like the first time
halfway
I
through
heard
puberty?
him, he was not a squeaker.
I'm pretty
Was
sure
he
this is
voice
exactly
cracking?
how he sounded when he came out.
Yeah,
Was he
Yeah.
voice cracking back then?
no,
Or was he like fireballing back then?
no.
All right. So the round 3 picks to talk about. Round 3, of course, we had the extension of the 2 British players to the 2 red teams, which is kind of ironic, Z-Master and Hunter. So third round picks, obviously we said Bondable Apple was Mr. Relevant. Smokey taking his team's namesake Avows the Samurai, who I think was good to be picked there, if not earlier. Smokey, you want to comment on
Yeah.
taking Avows the Samurai?
Honestly, that might have been the well. I only had 2 picks because I kept Joey. But if you consider keeping Joey a pick, out of all 3 picks, that was the easiest decision I had to make was taking Avows.
Yes.
He's just a really solid player. He's very willing to play and very available, and
Yeah.
I think he has a lot of room to grow. And I kind of wanted to see if I could get some of that growth out of him and
Oh, he's top
turn him
notch.
into a really good player.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I will
Speaking
take a
of
little bit of credit.
samurai, do you want my home court, Smokey?
Yeah.
All right.
Wait,
cool.
do you?
No, just
Wait, let's
kidding. No,
smoke
no, I don't. I'm not. No. I got to finish strong. We've been at that home court for
What the
the
hell just
entirety of the
Jesus fucking
HBL season.
Christ.
Maybe in
What just
Infinite,
happened?
I'll switch over.
There you go.
All right, so
We just had a
last pick we
massacre.
have to talk about, and arguably, at least in my opinion, other than Deej taking Ninty, Gotank's taking Irish. Very wholesome person here at number 11 overall. So
Yes,
first,
yes, this
Gotank's
was a character
signed
pick.
Irish in the offseason. Irish played, I don't know how many games for Gotanks. They won a couple games. I think the 2 wins of that season, or one of the wins at least, came with Irish. So
Oh, Smokey, you got to come back.
Was a
You're
Yes,
character
murdered.
pick
pretty
there,
sure it
guys?
did,
That's
but
fine.
he did. His connection was a little off, but I mean, he played as well as he possibly could have, given the circumstances. So, and he's also one of those guys he's definitely willing to, play if you need him. So that's why I picked him there.
yeah,
But,
that's what you look for
honestly,
in a backup.
I wish, in a way, I would have taken Avowals just because he is a little more, into the game of HBL. But, I still like the pick.
It's
What
not
do
a
you want in a
game.
backup?
It's a lifestyle.
Availability and
Yeah.
willingness to play. All right, so that covers it for the draft. There were a few questionable picks in there, a lot of very good value picks, I think, by our players. But those middle of the round picks and even some of the first round picks, the roster's completely shuffled. So the first transaction that happened, first one we're going to talk about, is we're going to have another conversation between former teammates, Deej and Smokey. Of course, Deej trading his number 2 overall pick, the best middle player on the board, to the Samurai for Chumpy and Avow's the Samurai. And we all know Chumpy's history playing middle. It's not good in the HBL. So if we want to have the 2 captains kind of discuss the
Damn.
reasoning behind these picks, and then we'll go
Well,
to
you
the
got to
players.
give time for Chumpy to defend himself.
We'll go to the
Nah, he
players
doesn't need
after
to.
this.
That's 100% correct.
Do you want me to go first or?
Yeah, sure, Deej. You can go first.
Okay. So I wanted to trade one of my players, Umper Ninty, for Chumpy. Anyways, because I can already see there are going to be some chemistry problems going on. So I felt like I needed to make a move, and then Chumpy was unhappy with his team, so I kind of just asked if he wanted to join my team, and he said, yeah, sure. So I tried to get a trade going for him. I could tell you what the first trade was, but
If you want to
I,
tell
guys
it, you
wanna
can.
know?
I offered you the first idea. I remember that. I messaged you. He'll probably accept if you send him this.
I
idea.
had another idea.
What was the other
so,
trade, Deej? If you want to disclose it, you can.
You want me to save a one?
Wait, should we save it? Should we save it?
You know
I'll
what? I'm
save
not
it.
gonna disclose that
Deej will
trade,
not
but
disclose it.
honestly,
Chumpy,
I'll
do you want to
save it.
disclose
Yeah.
what you told Deej to do to try to get you on his team?
yeah, you can tell them that.
I said not a. So I said offer me for Ninty, but add. This was still while the draft was going on. Whatever his fourth pick was, whichever player he picked fourth.
Who
I don't know
Deej
who
picked
that
for?
was. Yeah.
Well, that
He
would have been
picked fourth.
Z Master because he extended Z Master. He wasted his third round pick.
No,
Or
no.
not-
Yeah.
He used.
So
He used his
yeah.
third round pick to extend
the
Z
idea
Master.
was Z and Ninty for me. That was the first offer I threw out for him to
All
do.
right. And then we'll go to Smokey on this one. Trading for Ninty. Ow, my ears. Trading
Oh,
for Ninty on
ears.
this one. Who's gonna play middle and why make this trade?
The trade was honestly that trade was very easy for me to come to a decision on because after hearing how disgruntled Chumpy was for reasons I do not understand, I want my team to be the best it can be, and if Chumpy's off the field issues were going to cause a problem, then that could hurt the team on the court. So I really wanted to make sure that I had a team that was going to be happy to play together, and I saw an opportunity with how I know that there's some history between those players that got drafted on the Holy Ghost Melee. So I felt like that was a perfect opportunity to try to jump in there and see what I could do. So yeah, the trade offer was made to me first, but I was already thinking the exact same thing. And I really wanted to get Ninty on my team as well. I was kind of hoping that Ninty would fall to number 4, and then I could snatch him. And I just wanted to make sure that I was going to get Ninty. So that's why I threw Abaz the Samurai in there, because he was a backup pick. So if that's the player that I'm relying on my season with, then I've got other problems that I need to deal with. So the fact that Ninty was available through a trade like that just seemed like a no-brainer to me, and I'm happy that I finally get a chance to play with him.
All right, we'll quickly talk to the players, and then we'll get in the next transaction. We will start with the headliner of the trade, Ninty. What was your reaction
Hey.
to? I guess we already heard
Yeah,
you say
boy.
what you wanted. You were drafted by the Ghost Melees. Reaction being on the trade block and then ending up with Smokey.
It actually is a real interesting thing. I actually didn't. It was very surprising. I didn't think Demi was actually gonna go for the trade for me. Just because I'm definitely not gonna say like any like team stacking or anything, because everybody has their moments. Besides Go Tanks, he's awful, but yeah, everybody has their moments of up and down. I've definitely been an up and down type player. So being traded and having Demi give up that kind of role or that spot, all in all, it was real interesting. But definitely excited to see what will come out of the season, especially on Smokey's team, because I think this is something that maybe should have happened season 1, but I think I went to Go Tanks as well. But like I said, he's a former shell himself, so
Damn.
it's
Yeah,
definitely
pretty much.
exciting
Rest
to
in
see
peace.
that. But either way, if I win Smokey or if Demi wins the championship, I have a not 50-50. What's the odds? 20
You have a 40% chance.
40% chance to get a dub, some kind of dub, either another ring or have my team name get a title. So
I guess that's what
I
it's
am,
all about there.
that's what it's all about.
Still a partial owner.
Also do the hook.
Yeah, he still owns a couple shares.
All right, Chumpy.
Yeah.
So we knew you were disgruntled. You said it earlier. You did not want to be drafted by Smokey. You almost had, a hissy fit, or so you call it, in the chat and in the game when you got drafted by Smokey. You get traded to
Matt,
Deej.
you're right.
How do you feel?
You're kind of at gunpoint right now. I have to say.
Well, I'm the host, so
Anyways, I mean, I really didn't want to play for Smokey, not necessarily. It bores me playing in the same team for a really freaking long time. And 3 seasons, I feel, is a really freaking long time. So when I got the offer from DJ, I was thrilled about it. Because I think, unlike in actual sports with the HBL, switching it up is kind of a good thing, I feel. It's nothing against Smokey as a player. I just would have rather tried a different team, and I was thrilled to get the opportunity.
yeah, no harm, no foul on
He really wanted to come to Ghouls, but he's not a Brit.
exactly.
So,
Move across
I
the
tried
ocean.
really hard. I literally every day I messaged Chris. I said, you know what? Me and Chris would win, and he didn't pick me, and he's gonna pay for that mistake.
We will see
Team
early
Redcoat.
in the HBL season. All right, transaction number 2. Yeah, this one was, I think, the more interesting of what happened here. So, the only one involving draft picks. So, Smokey gets back his backup player from a season ago in Tagake, and the Ghouls, not the Holy Ghost Melee's first round pick for season 7, where the Ghouls acquired Joey Davis and the Samurai's second round pick of season 7. So I guess, Chris, we'll start with you. Why go after Joey? And of course, you said you wanted to trade Tig.
Mainly, I wanted Joey because I knew either Demi or Gotenks would want Joey. And, mainly I want to play with different people. So I was going to use, Joey as leverage to get Z or Strafe, 2 people I never actually play with. And, well, get Z. But overall, I mean, I'm only here to have fun. So losing a first round pick is going to be extremely interesting for me for the next season. And that'll give me more options to actually play with more people I don't actually play with a lot,
Yeah, it could turn out really good for the Samurai and really bad for you if the Ghouls end up having. I mean, you don't want it to happen, but if they have a not as good season as they did last time, Samurai could have a top 2 pick and then their other first round pick. So
Chris
you
is
can
all
make
about
a
diversity,
Samurai
bro.
super team for season
Yeah.
7.
As you can see,
Smokey.
my team is going to be super diverse.
Yeah, your team is super.
Definitely not all from the same area.
Smokey, you get Tiga back. You get a first round pick. You get rid of Joey, who, of course, you use that second round pick on. What's the reasoning here?
There is a lot. There's so many factors going into this one. So one of the first ones I really wanted to throw out there is Tig didn't get to play a lot last season. But when he did, I was always surprised at how well he understood the game and how he could sink shots if he really needed to. And he clearly has a good understanding of the game and knows how to play. So I felt comfortable if I had to go into a season starting with him. That's no problem. It maybe doesn't give me as good of a chance to win now as I would with Joey. But I think Tig might even have, I feel like there's a slight maturity difference there as well. I felt like Tig's maturity level kind of helps the team a little bit more. He's less likely to be upset about the situation he's been given. Joey was clearly unhappy about having Ninty on the team. So that was one of the main reasons. But the other reason, and this one is obviously a big deal, is getting that first round pick next season. So that was kind of like a play for the future. I always want to win now. I always want to do the best I can in the season I'm going into. And I feel like me, Ninty, and Tig could make a push for a championship. Yeah, especially if we coalesce well and play our best basketball. But getting that first round pick in the future, granted, we are going to be moving to Halo Infinite. There could be new players showing up. There could be a lot of new talent. We don't know how Infinite is going to mix things up. So having that extra first round pick in my back pocket could be a big deal for me. Just in case there's some other players who might get drafted in the second or third round that end up becoming really solid. So
quick question. Based on speculation, obviously, Infinite is going to release this year, at the end of this year. Is this the last HBL season on Halo 5?
that is what we believe, yes.
Okay.
I think it should be the last season.
Yes.
Just so we can roll into
Unless
a
they
new
delay
season.
Infinite again.
I don't
Yeah,
know,
unless
so.
it gets delayed. That'd be
I
a
don't
little
think they
minor.
will, but
yeah, I think this, because if that is the case, we need to be announcing that from game one, that this is the last season on Halo 5. So yeah, I do believe that.
I would say this is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we can confirm that right now across the board.
Yeah, I agree.
I guess that's confirmation here.
Pending a delay.
Pending delay, yeah.
If
Okay.
there's a delay,
It's so
Yeah,
sad
so-
after so long.
But yeah, no, I think moving Joey off to a different team where maybe he'd be a little happier. That's on him now. Having Tig on my team makes me feel good because I like his attitude towards the game. And then I did give Chris my second round pick for next season as well. So he, in theory, let's say my team tanks this season and he does great and maybe even wins the championship. All he'd be doing is going from pick number 5 to pick number 6. And then he'd get his second round as well. So it definitely helps me out because I get that extra first round pick. But depending on how our teams finish, obviously that's going to determine how valuable that pick trade was.
Yeah, that's probably the most dependent. And I guess Ninty, if you want to make a very quick comment on Tig being part of your team, if you have any
Yeah,
comments.
I definitely like the team chemistry there. Tig's always, like Smokey said, been like more mature than a lot of the, not a lot of the players, but some of the players and things like that. But my other thing is again, like Smokey said, Tig's understanding of the game is that he adapted really quick as well, especially coming from a whole different format, from a different style of quote unquote Halo basketball. So they did their own thing first. They had a small league going on, and then a lot of their players came over to play for us. They were the regulars before, and of course they split that team up a little bit. But yeah, it's a really I feel like it's good team chemistry there. Also, we have some open spots as well, so anybody that wants to pay me $25 can join the team, obviously. So yeah, I think it's a good chemistry as of right now. So we'll see what happens in the future, practice, whatnot, and everything.
Yeah. All right. So we have one more trade to get through, and then we'll talk briefly on the free agent signing we have so far. And the final trade, of course, is foreshadowed by Chris. We round out Team Brit plus Chris, I guess is what we would have to call it now.
I'm an honorary Brit,
We have the two red teams making the trade. So we have Deej, we have Chris, who had just acquired Joey Davis. Of course, said he wants to use him as leverage. Uses him as leverage. He gets Z-Master in exchange. Chris, start us off.
Like I said before, I wanted to get Team Brit going. I have nothing against Joey. Joey's a really solid player, and I wouldn't have mind playing with him. But I wanted to go out of this season since, we were talking about it before. This would be our last season. I wanted to go out this season with just like a full new team I never played with or I rarely play with. And, as you can see, it's super diverse. Everyone from totally different new areas. They don't live anywhere near each other. But yeah, I wanted to get like a whole new team. So people I didn't play with, all that good stuff. Nothing really crazy.
Yeah, and
Nothing
you get
against
Hunter.
Joey.
You get Hunter's.
And the UK is huge.
You get Hunter's
Yeah.
buddy
Yeah.
in
Yeah, it is.
Z-Master to pair with
Oh, yeah.
obviously Soul, who you picked first of all. Deej.
Yeah, Soul's someone I never actually play with either.
Yeah.
Ever.
All right, Deej. So I guess this is probably the biggest moves we've seen from a new captain. He makes a couple of big splash picks. Number one, his first and second round picks. He trades his first round pick. He gets another second round pick back for a third round pick. So arguably, he's exchanged some value for equal value. Deej, what do you make of these moves, and why acquire Joey, and why go so bold as a rookie captain?
Well, I went for Joey because I really like how he plays. He's improved a lot in multiple seasons, and he's also been huge in some runs to the finals. I wanted him on my team, honestly, but I didn't want to give up any assets for him or anything like that. Also, there was a disagreement about bringing him to the team. I don't know, Chumpy, if you want me to say it, or if you want to.
Some inside knowledge. Ooh, spicy.
He spilled
I
the
mean,
tea.
Go for it.
Yeah, let's hear
Okay,
it.
yeah.
Needed.
It is
Okay,
bringing,
yeah.
the two Samurai teammates of Smokey's that, of course, have lost a championship in the past. So if you want to spill the beans this time, Deej, by all means, spill the beans for us.
All right, so I told Chumpy that I was gonna make a trade, to get Joey. He wasn't on board with it, you know. So I just felt like that Joey was a really underrated player. He's a second round talent in my eyes. Like Z's really good too. Honestly, I think me and Joey can like mesh a lot better, you know. And I wanted Z to be with his own people, you know, the Brits. To be on their own team. So, yeah.
Not sure that's the way I would have phrased it, but
No, that's perfect.
I do gotta say
Can
something,
I
guys.
explain why?
Y'all remember Boston Tea Party? Yeah, you're gonna pay.
Yeah.
have you ever been anywhere
I'll
near
pay for it.
Boston, though, Chris?
Boston tea pickup.
All right.
Yeah.
So
Can I
I think-
explain why I was
Party.
against the trade?
if you want to, yeah.
So I was against the trade because.
Should I unmute Chumpy?
No.
All right.
That's extremely awkward. Anyways, I disagree with it because I feel like as a teammate specifically, like he's the number 4 player on our team. I think Deej can agree with that. And we can have on our team, we're gonna play him over Joey. And I feel like whenever we need Joey to play, I feel like he'd need to. I want a backup that plays more of a team player role than a guy who I feel like takes heavy amounts of shots whenever he can. And I'm not discrediting that play style by any means. I used to play like that, and it was annoying for everybody else on the court. But I don't think that's what you should look for in a backup, and that's why I thought Z was the better option because I feel like he'd be a better team player.
I mean, Joey's like a pretty top-notch player though, as a shooter.
Yeah,
Yeah.
as a shooter.
It's 2
Like
shots.
everyone has their real roles, and Joey I feel like he's a shooter more than anything.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Also,
So
I feel like he has a tendency to be a little bit inconsistent with his play style. But
I mean, everybody does.
everybody
kind of
has
happens.
their inconsistencies. That's why there's a gamble taking anyone at any position. So obviously, you said MC Gang. We don't really have anyone to comment on that. They haven't been involved in any of this action. Go Tanks. But I guess we'll announce. You can announce our signing for the shooting stars, and then you can just delve in a little bit. 1, why you signed, who you signed, and 2, what did you make of all this just madness that went down in the 30 minutes
Man,
following?
I don't
the
know.
draft?
It's so much that happened. I mean, have we had a post-draft trading session like this before? I don't think so.
Not that quick. Not that
Yeah,
much,
that was
basically.
a
I mean,
lot
these were the
happened
first
really
trades
quick.
since we were involved in season 3. That got Stray Felix sent to the Shooting Stars
Jeez.
for a draft pick, and then we go an entire 2 seasons without a trade, and then all this goes down.
Yeah. It's very crazy, but it's a lot of moving pieces. But basically, I just needed a backup, and Sonic Fan seems like a good bench player. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, we will definitely have him and Irish at the
We need
ready if we need him.
I have a quick thing, a quick stat. I don't know if it's true, or Smokey can
Yes.
back it up and say something. One, I think this is my first time being traded ever. So I was on a team.
Did you trade
I stayed
yourself?
on that team.
He
I
wanted
actually
to.
didn't get a chance to. Oh yeah, I definitely wanted to away from agents team. This is my first time being traded, and then also while I was captain, I never traded anyone. So anybody that was with me stuck with me.
Yeah.
Is that true, Smokey?
I believe so. You signed free agents, but yeah, like you said though, trades have never been a common thing. So
Trades are
yeah,
about
it
to get nerfed.
doesn't look like you've ever been involved in any trades before.
Need trade tokens. You can only have
You know what I realized though is I think with that trade and trading for you and Tig and if all I can do now is sign free agents, so I could field the first ever HBL team with none of my draft picks.
That's what's happening now.
Wow.
I don't have a single, I haven't drafted anyone that's on my team right now. So.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
is-
Yeah.
That would definitely
That is
be
insane.
make it good for an HBL first coming into the last season on Halo 5. So I guess we can finish off with a few. We don't want to do predictions, that can be for another podcast, but of course we're going to have a couple of very interesting matchups. Of course, whenever the MC Gang and Samurai meet in the regular season, there's so much history there. They've gone out in the championship 3 times now. That's going to be a matchup to look forward to. And of course, when the Shooting Stars play the new Holy Ghost Melees, of course it's the rematch between the season 4 champion team, of course now split apart. I guess, does anyone have any closing thoughts before we wrap this up?
I wanted to just run through the current teams right now, just as they stand, just
Let's
team
do
by
it.
team. So the Shooting Stars right now are Gotenks, weaponmatt, Stray Felix, Irish, and Sonic Fan. For the Holy Ghost Melees, we have Deej, Chumpy, Joey, and Avaz the Samurai. For the Ghouls, it's Chris, Soul, Z, Hunter. For the Samurai, it is myself, Ninty, Tig, and Patty. And the MC Gang is Fireball, Snoz, Rog, and Apple.
Let me go to.
Wow. And
It's Apple.
yeah, so Apple, is he still in here? Yeah, he is.
He's around.
Apple.
So yeah, I think honestly, a crazy, an interesting draft, but some more crazy trades after the fact. I think I still think that this is a pretty good setup of teams here, and I feel like all 5 of these teams are definitely going to be competing for that championship. So I'm really excited to see how this goes down.
Especially the Holy Ghost
We're on
Melees
Smokey's
whenever they win. Yo.
Me and you are on Smokey's team.
The trash talk has already begun.
For Halo. For
So-
HBO.
Shooting Stars for the win.
Oh yeah.
I can't win.
Going on.
Oh, you're
can't-
free agent, so
Listen,
we have someone.
I forgot to let
Yeah,
you
you're
know
back up.
something, Demi. If
Uh,
we're playing
Cyril?
Madden Championship, drop me.
Or Patty.
I can't play against Madden
Take it.
Championship.
Take it.
Yes, you can.
All right. So that'll do it
Lost
for
every
the
time.
post-draft.
Oh, hold on, one more thing.
What?
What's
one
up,
more thing.
Chris?
Y'all remember the American Revolution?
Yeah, Fireball won last season.
Yeah, about to
Hey,
say.
hey, I have one more thing too, man.
Hey,
What's
Go
up,
Kings team did
Chumpy?
worse than I did, so. I'm
Chris,
Ninty,
Chris,
we can hear you.
you're looking cute
I
today.
know.
Oh, thanks, man.
I have one more thing to say too.
Yeah, Deej, hit us.
I'll be back.
Hold on, Deej. Before you say this thing,
Yeah.
and then take us out. Why don't you take us out for the very first HBL
I need to
podcast?
create a soundboard of Demi's voice, bro, so we can.
Yeah, but I need to say something real quick.
Let's hear it.
We're called the Juicy Meat Beaters now, not the Holy Ghost Melees. I don't know
Oh,
why.
facts.
We're still saying that. So. Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
agree.
Smokey's too lazy to
Yeah.
update stuff. I mean, Smokey has some.
Smokey is very.
You can announce that for next season. I'm not changing anything for season 6.
Wow, that's.
They will be called the Juicy Meat Beaters in
Don't worry,
spirit.
yo.
Yeah,
We'll go on your court, and then I'll write that on the
That's like
court
the
so
nickname.
everyone knows.
You know
Alright.
how like the Pirates are nicknamed the Bucks for River fans.
Alright,
We can have
good,
that
is that
nickname.
All right, so that'll do it for the first HBL podcast. Hopefully, we will have more of these in the future. Of course, this was just the post-draft analysis. Hopefully, we'll see you soon. And yeah, be on the lookout for more HBL and Go Shooting Stars.
And yeah.